they put the horses
Oh, you
all
gotta have
in.
it on recording,
And
don't
then
you?
he got up over head of the horses. They had hay up there.
Just keep talking.
Sorry, you keep talking.
We gotta listen to you.
Anyway, slept all night. The horses ate hay. Well, then the next day there was two guys come there, and and Dad had a little 22 carried
Yes,
with him.
he
You know.
did.
So he had his little 22
He had
with
his
him up
22
there.
with him. He had his 22.
But anyway, those two guys that came, they rifled through all of his stuff. But he laid there and watched them, but they were trying to figure out who was using their facilities there, I guess, you know. So anyway, when they got all done, well, they come to the barn and the poor horses was in there, right? And Dad told him who he was and what he was doing. And it was fine then, you know. But he said they really looked through his stuff in the buggy, you know.
He said this old lady came to the upstairs window. She was home, the mother, and she came to the window, wondered who drove in, you know, these horses. And he kind of told her what, you know, what he was doing, and was just wanting to spend the night, and wondered if he could put his horses in the barn. She told him that the folks were gone, they'd gone somewhere, and they would be back. And he asked if he could put the horses in the barn, wondered, and sure, you go ahead, put the horses in the barn. So he did, and that's when finally they came home, and gee, these horses in the barn. And of course they didn't know that he was up in the haymow. But he was.
Oh, he had a lot of experiences with them horses.
He had quite a-
Then he said, their feet were getting sore. He stopped in one town, and I don't know what town that was, but he asked the guy that shoot horses there, you know, if he'd shoot those horses. He said, I got one that's quite a horse. Do you think you can shoe him? And he said, this is Dad's story now. He said, we can shoe anything with hair on. He said, well, Dad said they all got hair.
I've heard Dad tell that same thing.
So he led old Dick up there. He was only 6 years old then. But he said they got a twitch on him now. Bruce would know all about a twitch, I bet. But anyway, he snapped the twitch. The old man was going to hold him and his son was going to shoe him, but he got one shoe on. And he broke loose. Dad said he went down the street just as hard as he could run. And he figured, well, he probably was going back to Underwood, you know. But he said when they got down to the livery, he made a right turn and went right in his stall. And so Dad said he went back up there, and the guy told him, he said, you don't owe us anything. But he said, don't ever bring him up here anymore. That was.
Well, I thought that was a horse that he said there was something wrong, and what did they have to do to shoe? Was that the one?
But it wasn't just, I guess, nothing wrong with him, only they couldn't handle him.
Wow.
Yeah, but I thought there was something with the way they picked up his foot or something.
I don't know, but you know, when they got him home, he come home with that shoe on. But I know when they got him home, Dad always said that some of the neighbors, they all got together and throwed him, and then they got that shoe off of him. But he never ever had only the one shoe on him. But I don't know, I've never heard.
No, I never heard that there was anything wrong with the horse, only he was a wild one.
Yeah, he shooed some of the others, but when he got the Dick, he was all done, I guess. I tell you, when we used Dick, he generally was done.
I remember when Dad had runaways with him when he was haying.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You can have 5, look.
Yeah, I can remember Dad, you know, when he was after the wolves. He'd go out, you know, and he'd had a box on the front bob of the sled. And then he'd have hounds. He'd take 4 hounds, you know.
Good.
By old Ted behind.
Same old Bill, nothing different.
They would run across track, he'd turn 2 hounds loose and then listen for them, you know. And if they got going, well, he knew a lot of crossings anyway. He shot them sometimes when he was crossing, but he might have to just tie the team, hop on Ted, take the chains of the other 2 that was in the box, you know, and then he'd cut across on with his rifle, and if the coyote had made her through, he'd catch the hounds that was coming and turn 2 fresh ones on. He'd get a lot of coyotes that way.
Boy, those were the days. They'd be out hunting and get in all hours. One night, him and Leonard Knott was digging out a mink.
Yeah.
And I lived back, I was clear back there, you know, on the old place.
Yeah.
Middle of night, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that when he got home. I had no idea. What might have happened.
Well, he said one time he was over the
Oh,
knots.
they'd been digging out this mink.
Had old Ted died behind, you know. And come to have knots at them gates, so he drove the team through, and then he was shutting the gate, and away they went. He had a big overcoat on. He said he took his overcoat on and got Ted to still call him. You know, that border foot run, you know. Well, I remember one time, David and I was supposed to be watching the horses, and Uncle Floyd lived right south of Hinches, you know, on the east side of the road there. And so David, he come out, well, we got the plan in the rack, and the first thing I know, we was on our way. And of course, Dad had just flipped Ted's rein over the board on the back. Well, boy, David and I, we just got right down in the rack and sat there, we was scared stiff, you know. Them son of a guns, they missed them big posts that were on the gate there, come out on the road, and headed for home. And boy, they were running, they were really legging her. About then, of course, Dad come out of the house, big coat on again. They took that off, and of course, Ted, he was just standing there. Well, he never caught us till we got just about to the old Gerard place. But that old Ted, his nostrils was about like that, you know, and was he ever picking him up and laying him down. And Dad rode right up alongside of the dick and got him by the bridle and hauled him down. And then he got the lines up there, you know, and then we finally tied Ted back up. We went back, turned around and went back.
I remember one time when that happened, and we lived there where Jim lives. And boy, was he mad. You know Dad.
Well, he always got mad, yeah.
We got mad, and he used it awful strong language. And when he did get him, he made him go. He took him out just west of the house there, or southwest.
On them willows?
Oh.
Yeah,
And he made circles and circles and circles. I'll tell you about. They wanted to run, he'd let them run.
Yeah.
And he was using awful strong language, and that's when Vic Hedlund and George Wise was working at Hinges.
And I remember the time he said he had his hounds. He said, where his hounds went wherever he did, you know. And he had a gunner. Well, he had the old 8mm shotgun, one or the other. And I don't know what he had this time, but he went over the knots, you know. And the knots and us, the Springer lived together. You know. I suppose one of the knots went with him off and on. But anyway, old George Knott too, he had some hay up in there by what they call Beggy Lake. And they were going to haul this hay out of there. Do you remember the old Knott place where you went the road, up through there, over the hills and around them bends and got up there to the road? It was quite a road anyway.
I remember a lot of gates or something. They had to open to.
Yeah, they didn't really have, instead they had these here guards, you know, a pit dug, you know, and poles over them, and the cattle wouldn't step on them, you know. That's what they had north anyway. But I I think this must have been Dick and Jeff. I think he probably had Jeff yet then, and two bays was on there. Holy cow, he said all at once, somebody said, Morris, your team just left. And he had two hounds on there, you know. And they all run outside and they could hear them hounds a baying. And them horses
And they
was
didn't
going
jump
north.
out?
Yeah, they were going, no, he was in the house. Hear them going north over them hills, and well, then they took right off, but I don't know what they used to follow with. Maybe George had his team out there too, I'm not
Well,
sure.
isn't that the time they went, round and down to Jimmy and Jimmy Ware's mother?
She went out and stopped them. She
She went out
got
and
in
stopped them
front of them and
horses.
stopped them.
Holy gee.
Yeah, but anyway, Dad said when they went up over them hills, when they made that one turn, you could see where a hound lit out there. When they made another turn, the hound went the other way. So they lost both hounds, but then they took after them just a baying, you know. So they got up there and they made that turn and went up to where by the old Huffman school, turned left to past Jimmy Ware's, and of course she heard them coming. The hounds was really baying, you know, and she went out the road and stopped them, and they stopped forward. Dad said he never did understand how come they stopped forward.
It was a rough old way.
Yeah, he had a lot